I realise this is outside your portfolio area, but I do want to ask you about the extraordinary stoush that has just erupted in the last hour or so between the state and federal governments when it comes to the vaccine rollout. We've just had a really fiery press conference with New South Wales health authorities, Brad Hazzard, demanding an apology from the federal government over the way it's handling the vaccine rollout, and criticism between the state and federal governments as to, the blame shifting on this front. What do you make of it?
Well, blame shifting is not going to get anyone anywhere. The simple fact is that the federal government said as of today, the 31st of March, that there would be, millions of Australians, I think it was 4 million Australians, vaccinated by today. And what we do know, and I've had my first jab, what we do know is that they're way behind schedule. And the amount of vaccinations or vaccines that they're making available to the states is a lot less than what states expected. I have a GP that's been approved as part of the rollout. And I said to them, when do you think you'll start? And they had not been told. They were getting something like 50 doses of vaccine to start with, which was nowhere near enough. So I think the federal government has really been found wanting in the rollout of this vaccine. What we do know is that in other countries, Israel, United States, America, and a number of other places, millions of people are being vaccinated. And, the government's very happy to say, oh, well, we're in the best country in the world. We've done better than anyone else. Well, we haven't when it comes to vaccine rollout.
Let's turn to what you've been doing, the Labor Party has been doing this week at the National Conference. We heard this morning the Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, attacking the plans that have been outlined at that conference. He said that Labor's outlined $30 billion in spending in 2 days. He said, well, what would they do in government? He's suggesting that reckless spending is in Labor's DNA. We've heard about this plan to expand Australia's paid parental leave scheme to 6 months off work at full pay. Do we have a good idea as to just how much that policy would cost?
That policy hasn't been costed, and it's a very important aspirational part of the platform. It's not the first time that it's been in the platform; it's the second time. And there is
Why hasn't it been costed then? If it is so,
well, there is a commitment from Labor that will work towards the goal of 6 months full paid parental leave over the first 2 terms of a Labor government. And of course, what would you expect the Prime Minister to say? Labor's reckless with spending. Well, that's from the Liberal Party playbook. And quite frankly, the 3 big policies that have been outlined, the $15 billion fund for manufacturing in Australia, making the electric cars more affordable. We're way behind the rest of the world in terms of electric cars and community batteries, which goes very much to the issue of energy policy and responsible renewable energy policy. This is the ALP platform conference. The ALP platform is an important document. It's been revived, and I can assure you, Ash, that I have been at the conference for 2 days, and it is just remarkable that it's all online. People are voting in the same way as usual. Votes are being tallied, and it's worked extraordinarily well.
Perhaps not as a spicy affair as we're used to, though, not as many fireworks
well,
this time around.
There were 2 votes yesterday, one of them extremely contested. And, what really thrills me about this conference is that we've been able to go ahead. There is no party more transparent than the ALP in terms of its policy development. Anyone can log into this. You don't have to be an ALP member. And what we develop what we come to in terms of policy is announced for the world to see. You cannot say that for every Democratic Party in Australia.